lifted I up mine eyes, and looked, and, behold, there came out two women, and the wind was in their wings. For they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whither do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, To build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established, and set there upon her own base. Then lifted I up mine eyes, and
the women that was flying, they had the wings of a stork. But why a stork? In many cultures, the stork is a symbol of new life and rebirth, physically and spiritually. The Greeks called the stork Mother Love. The stork was sacred to Juno. Juno was a Roman goddess of health and home.
Of sun worship, and of the worship of the host of heaven, was a sin against the light, a presumptuous, heaven-daring sin. As the sun in the heavens was the great object of worship, so fire was worshipped as its earthly representative. The word rendered red properly means fiery, so that the red dragon signifies the fiery serpent or serpent of fire. Exactly so does it appear to have been in the first form of idolatry, that, under the patronage of Nimrod, appeared in the ancient world. The serpent of fire in the plains of Shinar seems to have been the grand object of worship. There is the strongest evidence that apostasy among the sons of Noah began in fire worship, and that in connection with the symbol of the serpent.
Juno is the Roman version of Hera. Hera was said to have transformed a beautiful queen named Garana into a stork. Garana was the queen of the pygmies. The pygmy means fist, boxing, or the distance between the knuckles and the elbows. In the Iliad, the pygmies constantly fight cranes as they migrate in the winter. The crane in the painting looks more like a heron. More on that later.
These birds migrate from the steppes of Scythia to the marshlands south of Egypt where the Nile has its source. And it is here, by the way, that they are said to fight with the pygmies. And the story is not fabulous, but there is in reality a race of dwarfish men, and the horses are little in proportion, and the men live in caves underground.
In some stories, the bird was a crane, but sometimes it's a stork. On closer inspection, all these birds look closer to a heron. The animal accompanied the pygmies reveals that the location is in Libya.
Hyrcanus upon this mentioned that some Nasamonians had once come to his court, and when asked if they could give any information concerning the uninhabited parts of Libya, had told the following tale. The Nasamonians are a Libyan race who occupy the Syrtis, an tract of no great size, towards the east. They said there had grown up among them some wild young men, the sons of certain chiefs, who, when they came to man's estate, indulged in all manner of extravagancies, and among other things drew lots for 5 of their number to go and explore the desert parts of Libya, and try if they could not penetrate further than any had done previously. The coast of Libya along the sea which washes it to the north, throughout its entire length from Egypt to Cape Salois, which is its furthest point, is inhabited by Libyans of many distinct tribes, who possess the whole tract except certain portions which belong to the Phoenicians and the Greeks. Above the coastline and the country inhabited by the maritime tribes, Libya is full of wild beasts, while beyond the wild beast region there is a tract which is wholly sand, very scant of water, and utterly and entirely a desert. The young men therefore, dispatched on this errand by their comrades with a plentiful supply of water and provisions, the inhabited region, pass, in which they came to the wild beast tract, whence they finally entered upon the desert, which they proceeded to cross in a direction from east to west. After journeying for many days over a wide extent of sand, they came at last to a plain where they observed trees growing. Approaching them, and seeing fruit on them, they proceeded to gather it. While they were thus engaged, men, under the middle height, who seized them and carried them off. The Nasamonians could not understand a word of their language, nor had they any acquaintance with the language of the Nasamonians. They were led across extensive marshes, and finally came to a town, where all the men were of the height of their conductors, and black-complexioned. A great river flowed by the town running from west to east, and containing crocodiles. The Nasamonians got safe back to their country, and that the men whose city they had reached were a nation of sorcerers.
This may also be the troglodytes that lived in the Sahara. Hera was jealous of Queen Garana's beauty. She probably knew that Zeus would cheat with her. So Hera changed her into the enemy of her people, so they'll fight. The heron features predominantly in Egyptian mythology. The heron is a sun deity called the Bennu bird. The Bennu is a symbol of the morning and new life. Heron is represented as Venus. The heron, the hawk, and the serpent can be inhabited by disembodied spirits for long periods of time. The Bennu bird, or the heron, is the phoenix in other mythologies. It flies to Heliopolis or Cairo to sit in the laurel tree or the palm tree where it dies and is reborn. The Bennu bird is linked to purple. Purple represents spirituality, bravery, and wisdom. The Phoenicians were the purple people. This had two meanings. One, the Phoenicians traded and manufactured purple dye. They were famous for it. The purple dye comes from the Merex rock snail. The hieroglyph for the Bennu means palm tree and purple heron. Phoenician also means purple people or red people because of their skin color. They are descended from Ham. The two women carry a basket, was transporting the basket to put it on a pedestal in the plain of Shinar, much the way the stork carries babies and start a new life. The religion of the woman in the basket is revived by the two women with wings of a stork or heron. The color of the heron is purple and also red at times.
Seven vials, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. 6 And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.